We started off, we've won 4 straight races going into Sonoma.
Nick Whitmer has been untouchable. Just a great season for a very talented driver.
We left Sonoma with 7 cars, probably 6 problems. This is about as bad as it usually can get for us. You know, we had some injector problems with one car, ABS failure with another car, and then the races came and, you know, we ended up with 3 blown motors and a crash damage.
We're still first in the manufacturer championship, but for the driver championship, I got the Mazda closing in on me.
Our only threat is the Mazda, but I think driver to driver, you know, Nick will easily be able to outrace him and we'll beat him.
So we're at a storage unit in Sacramento, California, just here after the Sonoma race. There's kind of a lot of carnage we're working on.
We left Sonoma, you know, we had 7 cars racing there. 3 of them wound up blowing motors in race 2.
We should have changed the motor.
It's a lot of cars. I mean, we had 5 cars that needed extensive work. It just didn't seem like it made sense to bring the cars back. So we left the cars out here in Sacramento and rented a couple storage units.
This is our 3rd engine in a day and a half. Now, yesterday it was in the high 90s. It was really hot. Today is still in, I think, the high 80s, but it's hot.
You know, it takes a lot of time on the road to haul the teams and the equipment to where they're going. This is a big country. And that puts a strain on things, and time load, you know, logistically, just the costs. But if you're running in a national pro championship, that's the cost of racing. And you've just got to be prepared to do that if you're going to step up to that level.
Let's get that alternator on here, Mike.
There's a lot of stress on Kevin and Cody and Michael to work on cars in non-optimal situations. You know, ideally, we want to really disassemble everything in a very organized manner, put it back together when they're not tired or hot or uncomfortable. We want things to be done in a way that's not stressful, but that isn't the case when we do these back-to-back events.
It looks like a piece of rod exploded from the casing and hit this with such force that it actually broke it into 3 pieces. It's pretty crazy. Never had a failure like that. I'll take this wiring harness and swap it over to the new engine.
You know, it's tough anytime you're not doing stuff at the shop because, you know, you got to make sure you have everything you need. And these little metal units are super hot. This was the first time in 4 years that we had so many cars that needed work on them.
Need a 12 if you get a second, Kevin.
12 what?
Socket.
So definitely Sonoma was the weakest event we've had. Sonoma was a track that was perfectly suited for my cars. We should have easily won those 2 events, but we did have a transmission issue with Nick. He wound up having to race 1 in 4th gear the entire race.
Jammed in 4th, it wouldn't even go out anymore. I was like, finish the race like that.
We're leading the championship still, but not by a lot. We're not getting the best BOP for our cars right now. I think we're a little bit at a disadvantage on some of the cars, but it's hard to complain because we won 4 straight races. The BOP is sometimes a lot political. They want every manufacturer to win, so there's always a little bit of bias in there. And by the time you get to mid-season, the BOP is usually leveled out and they don't really adjust it so much. But, you know, we're going into a couple tracks that are going to suit some of the cars that are faster in the straightaways towards the end of the season, so a little nervous about that. I would have liked to have had a stronger lead going into, you know, Road America and Vegas at the end. But, you know, we'll see what we can get done at Portland. I definitely really want to win the team championship and the manufacturer championship again this year. It would be really nice to win the driver championship. You know, we've had a dominant car, and so clearly we're not at a huge disadvantage, but we just have a better driver.
The Rustmaster is the official hardware partner of Going Pro SRO America.
Portland International Raceway, one, the area is just ridiculous. You know, right in the middle of the Cascades. It's just a beautiful area to come to. You never know in the summer what kind of weather you're going to get. You know, one year you go and it's absolutely delightful. The next year you go and it's oppressively hot. But that's just the nature of it. But the track itself, absolutely flat. And you'd think, all right, well, how challenging can it be? It's short, 1.95 miles, thereabouts. Really challenging. The cool thing about it is over the years, it's maintained a pretty decent grip. It isn't very hard on tires. Its issue is passing. It is a really difficult place to pass on. Turns 1 and 2, now the Shelton chicane. That is a great passing opportunity, but at the starter races, it also is a place to have absolute insanity unfold as well.
Look at McCann trying to work around James Walker.
Spin in the bag as Maxon's around.
Turns 4, 5, 6, it's completely decreasing. So if you overcharge early, you're going to be really slow coming out of 5. And then 6, 7, you got to get that launch on that long back run. Turns 10, 11, the quick left-right chicane, one of my favorite pieces of racing real estate in North America because it's what road racing is, an extremely fast transition. For a track that you look at and you go, is this that difficult? It's really challenging. But because of the passing, track position is everything, which puts a premium on qualifying.
So yesterday we did the track walk. Kevin took me out. He hasn't raced here, but he's been here a couple times with the team and just kind of knew what some of the other drivers had talked about. And this is super tight.
Super tight. But
This is third gear too, probably?
yeah, you'll be third gear. You're probably gonna have to see fourth and then back.
Yeah. So that's third gear as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Basically, just kind of show me the lines. There's a couple things I didn't realize that you could get away with.
Like if that wall was moved in 5 feet, you'd still be fine. You
Oh,
know?
okay, yeah. But a lot of the other stuff was basically what I was expecting. I found in the sim like 2 little sessions and I was kind of running similar times to what these cars run, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but probably means that it's not too long to learn. I'd done some time in the sim. I was using my Thrustmaster and Next Level sim setup at the office and ran the track. Gave me a good idea like where the track was going, and it seemed pretty accurate, but it's not quite the same. Just finished practice and it was hectic. We had the TCA, TC, and TCR cars out, which is 40 cars. And Portland International is not a very long circuit, so there's just cars everywhere. You're encountering traffic all the time. I managed to improve my time a little bit. There's a couple of times where I, found another 3-4 tenths and then had to abandon my lap basically because of traffic later on. We made a little bit of a change to the setup of the car. They made some adjustments to add a little bit of oversteer. So this is a good opportunity for me to experiment with the car. So they're stringing the car, just checking the alignment. Maybe there's a little something they could do to tweak it. Once again, it's the 4th race of the season and it's yet another track I've never been to, but we're getting there.
The Pacific Northwest has so much to offer, and one of the true gems is Portland International Raceway and the surrounding area of the Cascades. It is beautiful conditions to go racing, and that's what we're about to do. It is now time for the classes of the TC America category that make up TCR and TCA to come out for qualifying. As the cars have come to life, and the session is green.
Great cars again this weekend. This track's really nice for the Subarus. A lot of good flow corners. Hurts a bit the front drive cars, the Minis and the Hondas, but this weekend I think they gave a little bit too much, I find, to the Hondas. They took off a little far and qualified. We still qualified P3 with the Subaru, but the turbo cars are really quick here. So they're going to be really hard to beat in the race. We're going to have to watch those guys.
Just finished qualifying and it didn't really go that well. I kind of had a strategy with one of the team guys to follow him, and then I got a bit confused about what was going on in the pits, and I thought he was staying and not going out, so I waited a bit and he wasn't going, so I just went. Because I wasn't sure, maybe he had an issue or something, and I didn't want to lose the car in front of me because the draft here is like a second and a half a lap. So I qualified, I think, last, which is terrible and a bit embarrassing.
Where did you go? You just took off. I was waiting. No, I was waiting. I stopped behind and let Rob go, and then I was waiting for you. Yeah, and I was just parked behind you. And then you just took off. Oh yeah, you weren't going, so I wasn't sure. Oh, sorry, man.
Qualifying's never been my strong suit. I need that carrot of that car in front of me, which was kind of the plan with following the other car, from like a draft, a bit of motivation, and a bit of learning all kind of rolled up into one. But that didn't work out, so kind of play the hand you're dealt, and hopefully tomorrow I can do better than my qualifying.
We just got to make some points this weekend. We're still first in the Manufacturers Championship, but for the Driver Championship, I got the Mazda closing in on me for some stuff. We had failures in Sonoma. And, we just got to beat him. I qualified ahead of him, so I just got to stay ahead of him, build some more points on him, and then hopefully the Hondas and the Minis are going to burn out their tires. Hopefully it gets really hot. Try to take that big win.
The learning curve here is big. I thought it was just the driving stuff, but then there's a bunch of other stuff too about like when you go out for your qualifying lap, which lap you choose to make your hot lap to get the most out of the tires, and tire management, and just dealing with all the different types of cars and trying to like work together as a team. Kind of just waiting for that moment where it all starts to click, and it's well, today is not that day.
Going Pro SRO America is brought to you by ViewSonic Elite for the modern gamer.
Welcome to Portland International Raceway, and this one is going to feature Touring Car A. We just came off probably one of the most undulating tracks. This one is absolutely flat, but it presents challenge.
Drivers like it. Tough to pass, so track position is key. Tyler Maxson, coming off a sweep of the weekend at Sonoma, has really closed down that championship lead that Nick Whitmer has. He sits right alongside Nick on the second row of the grid. 11-point spread right now in the points.
All right, here we go. 40 minutes of competition. Round 7 for TCA. Green flag, and we are racing.
That's going to be really tight there at Apex.
This is the battle for the lead in TCA. Haldeman in that X-Factor Honda Civic, and then Whitmer in that Tech Sport Subaru.
I was a little bit nervous starting the race just because we made a significant setup change 20 minutes before the race started. We went to stiffer rear springs. I really didn't know what to expect. But as I started pushing more and more, I realized that, it's totally drivable and still has understeer. Yeah, so that change seemed to work out okay.
Today's race, we qualified third. We went out, and these guys were just making their own mistakes. They were just giving me the open door everywhere.
See a great battle here.
This is the lead in TCA.
It is. Whitmer's got it. Haldeman's dropped back a little bit, and Maxson has caught this lead duo as well, and he takes over the second position, so Haldeman goes from the lead back to third.
Boy, Maxson's fast.
He is.
Look at that.
Well, we've seen Whitmer in races past just be very conservative in the early going, really managing his tires and coming on strong late in the going, but with that sweep of the weekend at Sonoma, he's got to be thinking about the big picture of the championship. He can't afford for Maxson to get another victory.
The battle in TCA is fierce. And here comes Tyler Maxson looking down to the inside for the lead. Here it is. Maxson's through. That Mazda does seem to have some pretty solid straight line speed, doesn't it?
It really does, and that's got to be frustrating. That straightaway speed could be perfect for Maxson to get his third victory in a row.
And and a problem for De Silva. And the full course caution flies. It'll be interesting to see just what unfolds on the restart here. And we're about to get back into it. Whitmer's gone around Maxson and picked up the lead.
Haldeman's right there. Norenberg's right behind them. Argy-bargy coming off of turn 7. Someone takes to the weeds.
Boy, this is going to be fun right to the end. Look at that. Oh, big off in the back just a little bit. Another big win. Great run. Right to the wall for Tech Sport. They love that.
Awesome.
Nice work, man. Hell yeah!
Yeah, it was a wild race for you, Nick. How would you assess your performance here today?
Like you just said, it was a wild race. We had some crazy passes going out there, and it was a beautiful race. A lot of different leaders. For sure, Max in the Mazda, he was really hard, but he made an error, I guess. I didn't see him anymore in the mirror, and I was like, that's it, I'm taking it home.
And I ended up finishing 10th, which is okay. I got some points, so I'll take it. I really just kind of focused on getting the most out of the car and feeling the setup and just sort of getting a handle for what it's going to do. Sunday is going to be good, and I guess that's kind of the story of my season. I kind of get better towards Sunday, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes, and look forward to the race tomorrow.
Going Pro SRO America is brought to you by Next Level Racing. Take racing to the next level.
Welcome to Portland International Raceway, the 8th round of the TCA Championship as the cars have formed up on the grid. Let's take a look at this track. We've talked about it many times, Cal. It's flat, but it's challenging.
There's a lot to it. Starts off with that chicane, very tight, difficult to get through, and particularly on the opening laps.
Drivers, start your engines!
It is game on, and we're green.
Spin in the back as Maxon's around.
Oh, that's huge in terms of the points.
So today's race, right off the start, the Honda got me into one, so I said, okay, take it, follow him. We checked out. We had a good 8-9 second lead on 3rd and 4th.
You know, I felt like I had a pretty good race. I got a good start, I made up some places, I made some good decisions in turn 1. Just kind of like was strategic, and it worked out all right.
Here's that battle for the lead in TCA. Nick Whitmer in that blue and white Subaru from Tech Sport Racing. Haldeman in that orange and black Honda.
There was a big safety car period. Rob on the team went in the tires at the exit of the turn 1 chicane. We're under safety car for several laps, and then they red flagged.
So we all had to go park in the pits. So that hurt us because everyone bunched up. Once that was all ready to be done, we had a 10-minute shootout.
Field is heading back out on track, and we have confirmation from race control that as the field comes around, when the green flag flies, the clock will reset to 10 minutes. So, Cal, we've got some life in this race yet.
It will be a very short 10-minute sprint to the finish. Whitman now putting the pressure on Haldeman as they exit turn 7. This is the battle that we're looking at there. Tails away for the TCA lead. Haldeman to the middle of the road.
And he's gapping Whitmer, and look who's coming. Maxon.
You know, it was going pretty well. I got myself up to 8th place. On the last lap, one of the Subarus, I thought it was Ben, have contact with one of the Hondas, and she had a big spin, came across one, and I managed to avoid that. But then Ben had to bail, and he totally just ran me out of room, so I had to get out of it. So I ended up in 9th place.
Oh, and look at this, Whitmer having to defend on Maxon now as they head down into turn 10, and Maxon just drove by him.
Mazda went right by me like nothing, you know, so follow him. He's my competitor in the championship, so I'll just stick with him. He's gonna fight it out with the guy in front. In the meanwhile, I got the Mini on my butt too, so he got by me. I fell down to 4th.
This is the last lap that the TCA class will be starting here. Whitmer going to try everything he can. He needs to get in front of Pombo.
That Mazda has a lot of speed.
Then we got on the last lap, the Mini and I, we had an amazing pull out of the hairpin because the Mazda and the Honda got in contact.
Oh, contact, and he's sideways. He saved it, lost a lot of momentum. Pombo's through, probably Whitmer as well. Look at Pombo going after Haldeman. So close, Pombo at the line. Haldeman floating a little wide. Whitmer going to try and cut underneath.
Going into the last section, I don't know what happened. Next thing I knew was the Honda and the Mini just drove right by me.
Pombo comes through with the STP Mini for a big, big win. Haldeman in second, Maxon and Whitmer. That's your point scenario right there. But what a run. And I guess the good news for Whitmer is you know, third to fourth, not as much of a point spread as first to second. That certainly was entertaining. And
we are down on power for the series, but we'll take the fourth. The Mazda finished right in front of me in third, so he only gained probably 3 points on me. We're still leading the championship with a good pad, and we're going to be going into Watkins Glen with that, leading the championship.
It was a good weekend. Ultimately, we're still leading the championship. The BOP is completely working against us at this point, but I think the BOP will equal out. By the end of the season, we have a really good lead in points to go over the Mini and the Honda. Our only threat is the Mazda, but I think driver to driver, you know, Nick will easily be able to outrace him and we'll beat him.
welcome to Watkins Glen International Raceway in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region as we are here.
Watkins Glen's a track you do need confidence because it's really fast and it's lined with barriers. So any mistake, you're into a wall.
Whoa, and a huge touch to the wall.
As I brake, the car locked up. I tried to control it, but it just beelined straight for the wall. And that was it, man. I was along for the ride.
Ben's car is not the problem, it's your car. I'm like, my car is totally fine. I guess they were doing some tweaks to the ECU to try and solve a traction control issue, and now the ECU is dead.
Doesn't motherfucking matter. All I know is the car ran when it came in.
You got to think about the championship, so we got to be smart, stay on top, be up there for points. We can't have a screw up, that will hurt us.
Look at this run. Maxon leading, oh, and a huge sideways moment.
Now, there's a crash there.
Points
Whipper
leader
gets taken out.